So, that was elegant. That is definitely going in. And the newest one. So this is the newest gun in my collection. This is a 110 Rob Allen Nomad. This is the gun that I've been looking at. Hold on, let me take it out of the cover for you. This is the gun that I looked at for over, as soon as I bought that 90cm, I was like, I need something longer to get pretty much bigger fish. So as I took that 90cm over to Solomon Islands, I was really regretting that I didn't take that 1 meter gun that you can probably see up behind me, or I didn't make that big timber one yet. So all I had was the 90cm, and then I saw this thing and I kind of fell in love with it. So, as you can see, the camo green matches the cover, and it is an awesome gun. This is like a laser. So, starting from the back to the front again, so we've got the Rob Allen Vector 2 handle, great comfy handle. It's got the shark clip on the back, which I already said before about the Rob Allen Sparrow. There's some pros and cons to it. Overall, I like it, but just that rattling sometimes can annoy you underwater. Beautifully made raw gun, aluminium barrel. This is the Rob Allen slimline reel compared to the other one. And moving towards the front, I've got the D-shackle system as a runner for my line, which I've got on my other one there. Both my Rob Allen guns are pretty much set up the same. The only difference is this one's got a swivel instead of a swivel and a pigtail. So this one's connected straight to the line of the gun. There's no extra snap clips or nothing. So, moving forward, 110 shaft, Rob Allen. There we go. Flopper's tuned correctly, probably just needs a little bit of loving. It's worn out a little bit, so I changed the gun to twin 16s instead of having one, I think it's an 18mm band, and you got to go with the lime greens just to match it. It just looks amazing. So then once I've done that, haven't really done too much to the gun other than really change the bands. And the pros of this gun is it is an awesome gun for diving the outer reefs. If you're going to go a little bit of blue water, yeah, this would be a great backup gun because of the reel, the length. It's awesome like that. But I can say that in clear water, this gun is awesome. This is what I go to when I know the water's clear, or I'm diving in a boat that I might be diving inshore and also out on the reefs there. So it's a great gun to have for both of those cases. But yeah, great gun overall. My cons to it is the longer your gun gets, the harder it is to reach the rubbers. So as you can see from my chest to my arms, I can't reach the rubber. I can't reach, so once I've got it sitting on my chest, I can't reach, so I have to put the gun fingers out. You put it in the base of your hand between your thumb and your index finger. You grab the band and you first pull the band straight, so you got a little bit of tension on your, I'm not sure if you can see that, but you pull down with a little bit of tension and then you move the gun to the base of your chest, pull down and lock it in, and that's how you do it with these longer guns. Or you can get what's called a load assist, which is another little rubber with a hook on it. So you load that one first and then you just get ready and you just pull the other one back and it knocks it out of place. So other than that is those two Rob Allens are my go-to guns. I recommend that for anyone who's had a bit of time in the sport and ready to upgrade from a 90 to sort of like a 110, 1200, around that size, depending on what you're going after. This is the Cressy Mohawk. This is the 5th gun in my collection that I have. It is a 1 metre gun, and this was actually given to me by a family friend. He said he didn't want to use it, so he doesn't use it anymore, so gave it to me. So this gun, I bought another one of these a while ago from Facebook Marketplace. It was 900, and you would have seen in episode 3 that's coming out. I'll show you the handle on it, because when that gun eventually failed, the reel is here, the handle's in the cupboard, and the shaft is what's hanging those spare hangline drums up with. So, and it's a spare shaft. But anyway, moving from the base to the front of the gun, we've got a chest load with a very, very comfy grip on it. It's like, almost feels like it's molded to your hands, really comfy. So moving forward, we've got this reel that I put on there. It feels like a very, very dodgy setup because it's held in by tyre wire, screws and plastic and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, that's the reel I go to. The tension is here on the side to release and put your drag on a bit more, plus you've got your little wind up handle. And then moving forward, I've got the string here. It's just a bit of stuff I got from the local Bunnings, and it's actually high reflective. So my thought process behind that was, if I ball this up and all the light bounces off the reflective, it looks like little bits of bait. So that was the idea. I don't think it worked too well. So moving forward, I've just done just a basic knot just to make sure it doesn't slip, and now we've got the traditional European muzzles. I'm pretty sure this type of muzzle got faded out during the late 2000s. To take the rubber off, you pull the muzzle down and pull it out like that, and it'll pop it out from these tiny little grooves here. Somehow you can get the rubber that small. I don't know exactly how, but this is my backup gun, or if someone's like, I need a gun, do you have a spare one? This is the one I usually say, yep, here you go. So as you can see, the last time someone used this, they had some muzzle troubles, and the rubber actually snapped off when they shot. I think he said he shot a coral trout with it, and he got muzzle wrap and it pulled the rubber clean off and snapped it. Unfortunately, but anyway, that happens all the time, no harm done. So yeah, other than that, great gun. The pros of this gun is it's a great size, the handle is really comfy, and when you go to load it, the rubber is like there, so you just whack it straight down. It's very easy to load. The cons of this gun is the reel that I put in is pretty dodgy, so that's sort of my fault, but also too, if I shoot Rob Allens for a while and I come back to using this gun, I cannot hit anything with it. So that's, I don't know, it's just changing between 2 different brands of guns. You can, if it's not point blank like the Ocean Hunter, not the Ocean Hunter, the Undersea, then yeah, it's got a bit of distance in it. I struggle sometimes trying to get my eye in with it. Plus I've got the other Rob Allen reel mount here they give you for your line runner, and it hasn't really been made for this gun or anything like that, anything even close to having a line guide, so I put that on there, and that kind of saved me a little bit. So moving on to the next gun. Here we go, we're going to step back in time here. I'm going to say this is the 6th gun, isn't it? Yeah. So, this is the 6th and final spear gun itself in my collection. You'll see this one was really stuck towards the back because this sort of isn't really mine. This is my dad's spear gun. He bought this when he was 21 years old, and now I think he's 59, the old bugger. But this gun has survived through, it's come through hell and back. But he used to use this when he was living down south, and he used to be a pro fisherman, and this was always in the boat, he said, and this was just like, if you didn't have a gaff, you would use this. If you had an annoying shark, you would poke it off with this, if you had to go get some bait, you would jump over the side and you would use this. So this was his go-to gun for a while, and I made it a bit of a thing of mine to secretly repair it without him knowing. So if you're watching this, Dad, your gun's repaired and ready to go. So starting from the base to the front, we've got the traditional undersea leg loader here, little copper pipe with a dowel and a little line catch here to put your float line on. Funny story, I think he shot a big fish with this, and he had his float clipped off to this, just like a little fender, sorry. And when he shot the fish, it actually ripped the gun out of his hands. He lost the gun for a day, and miraculously, he was out to sea, and he saw this little white speck bobbing across, and yeah, it was his gun. The fender was sitting upright, the fish was still on the end of the gun, and his gun was sitting underwater like that. So I think that was a funny story he told me. Geez, that was a while ago he told me that. But a little bent up bit of aluminium to hide the sand from getting in all the trigger and everything. A little bit of builder's wire bent up into a spring and curled up, and they called it a spring. It's not a real effective looking spring, but anyway, it does the trick. I've just got a bit of line here, and this is a custom bungee that I've made. You'll see in the third episode of this, it's a medium strength bungee, which means it's got a bit of juice, but as you can see, it bends and it bottoms out, and you'll feel that bottom out there. So if the bungee breaks, it's still attached by the line. And then moving forward, we've got two stainless steel bridles. I wanted to keep within the theme of the gun of the old school one. So this is his original stainless steel bridle, and this is one that I bought to match it. So moving forward, we've got this line that I was saying before. There's the spring, and I got told to put, if you can see that, I got told to put a little washer in between, so when you fire the gun and the spring slides, it doesn't get caught up on that little notch there. So it kind of just hits that, and this washer hits that first, and the spring bounces off the washer. And then moving to the very front of the gun, this is a double flopper. I think they call them a power head, or that might be mistaken for the spear gun with the shotgun case in it. But anyway, we'll call it a power head for the sake of the video. So this is a double flopper, let's call it a power head. And the funny story is, this gun here was originally this gun. All Dad did is change the barrel and change the rubbers. That's all he did to it. And I said, oh, he said, yeah, when I first bought this gun, he said it was originally that small size. So he did a bit of modifications. That's why there's the lack of the rail. As you can see, there's no rail on this gun. So that is the final spear gun in that collection. Now we move over to the hand spears. So the hand spears, we've got, the first one we've got here is an Ocean Hunter. It's an Ocean Hunter, isn't it? Yeah. It's an Ocean Hunter single piece hand spear with plenty of prangers up top here. So I bought this hand spear a while ago, and then the rubber broke straight away because I had been using single piece hand spears. I've used two piece hand spears. The first ever spearing thing I bought was a two piece bright yellow land and sea hand spear, and that worked great. Shot plenty of whiting on that hand spear, but bought the gun, and then I went, I want to go back to a hand spear, so I bought another land and sea, but it was too heavy. It was a two piece one again, and then I stepped to a completely hollow, as you can probably hear, probably see down there. It's completely hollow through the center. The only reason I phased this out is you might be able to see in the camera, but it's been bent a lot. It copped a lot of heat, this one. I've tried to shoot some big fish with it, and the back sort of end of the spike here, oops, it's probably too close. The back sort of end there, as you might be able to see, they are not really big, so what that means is when you shoot your fish and it wants to stay on there, you don't have a lot of material holding the fish on, unlike the floppers here with these other guns. But now the rubber I had was, I put a whole bit of 16mm on it, tried to make it as powerful as I could, and that didn't really work, so taking the rubber off, and now it is sort of like a bit of a, what do they call it, a gig, where you're just like off the top of the boat at night trying to stab some bait or some flathead or something, walking around shallow water. That's what I use that for. Now, moving on to the actual hand spear that I use if I want to take it old school for a bit. This is a Salvimar hand Salvimar. Doesn't give me a brand other than just pole spear. So, Salvimar pole spear. Now, you may recognise this pole spear. I shot a jewfish with this pole spear somehow, although probably I might add that jewfish was injured from someone else trying to shoot it. But I've shot plenty of other fish with this, but the footage of that wasn't really good, so I thought I wouldn't even bother showing it, just because, yeah, I want to only bring out sort of a bit better footage than what's around here, because where I live right next to a river mouth. A little bit of rain, it just makes the water super blurry. But anyway, this is the two-piece Salvimar pole spear. It is, I cannot rate it highly enough. There's your little twist together like so, and when you pull it, the rubber, I don't know what rubber they've used, but it is absolutely awesome for just, I don't know, it's just so springy, and it's just so nice to use. And one other thing that I've found that the other pole spears don't is they're 3 clustered pranger head here. They may lack in numbers, but they're really flexible. They don't break. The other ones aren't that flexible, and also the prangers on the back here have got a lot more meat on them compared to the Ocean Hunter. As you might be able to see there's a lot more back spike here than over here. But other than that, I cannot rate this pole spear highly enough. You can change the head out for an actual proper spearhead. You've got so many different things you can do with this gun. It's light, it's portable, and it is great. So, my pros on this hand spear is the rubber is just, I don't know what type of rubber it is, but tell you what, they've just done an incredible job on it. It's probably the best feeling rubber that I have felt in a while. And the prangers, they're just, the 3 prangers, and they're real flexible. It's just gold. I cannot rate it excuse me, highly enough. But the cons of this is the threads that hold the whole thing together. If you don't wash them out religiously with fresh water, they can seize up and ruin your pole spear. But other than that, my personal recommendation on this gun is, so this hand spear is, I freaking love it. It's awesome. So, pros of the Ocean Hunter pole spear. Pros, it's light, it's like awesome for gigging straight down or shooting through the water. It flies really well through the water, and there's no shortage of prangers up top here. Cons of it, it's light and hollow and bends really easy. I'm not sure if you can see sort of down the line there, it's got a bit of a kink in it. And they give you no grip on the front of it. None of the pole spears do, so I added this bit of electrical tape onto it and sort of made it look like a bit of a Ninja Turtle looking up and down. But yeah, they're light, it's great, but it doesn't have a lot of meat up top where the prangers are, and it doesn't, it bends really easy, so that's why it's now a straight down gigging pole spear instead of the actual pole spear. Righty-o! So, that was all the spear guns I have in my collection at the moment. I'm always looking to expand as the end of the video. If I was going to put three sort of guns into a bracket as my top three. It's a bit of a hard decision, or I might just, what I'll do actually, is I'll put the guns away as to what I would rank them as and what I'd rank them as. So last place obviously has to be, unfortunately, it's Dad's gun. The thing about this gun is the pros and cons of it. The safety is really loud, so if you're stalking a fish and you had your safety on and you got to turn the safety off, that loud click underwater is just a way to spook fish so fast. And the way these bridles sit on the shaft here, as you can see, the shaft has actually been re-grooved a couple of times, so it's a little scary and it freaks me out. I haven't used it yet, so it scares me. So last place has to be Dad's gun that I have been restoring. Okay. Right, second last has to be probably the big kahuna. The big one that I made from scratch, just mainly because I don't have a boat and I only know one mate with a big boat to get out wide, so I haven't given it a test and I haven't fully figured everything out on it yet, so it's still a work in progress. So second to last is this big sucker, and it weighs a ton, but it looks incredible. Righto. Fourth place, it has to be, it's got to be this one, I reckon. It's got to be the Cressy. Unfortunately, she's fourth place, just because every time I go back onto it, I cannot hit anything with it. I've only hit one or two fish with this gun. That's because someone in the Solomon Islands needed bait and said, go down and shoot some triggerfish or something. So I was free falling straight on top of one, and because I was straight on top, I got it. But I've only shot maybe 2 fish with this gun. It wasn't Solomon Islands, it was South Rocks. But yeah, wasn't every time I jump, it's comfy, it feels like a great gun, but I am gonna put it at number 4 just because every time I step back to it, I cannot hit anything with it and it drives me crazy. Righto, third place podium special. It's got to be the little fella, the Floaty Hunter. Great little gun. Needed to fix it up, but awesome gun for shooting all your basic stuff. It's a great gun for if you've got a young kid who just wants to get into the sport. Do not go past one of these. They're a great gun, versatile, and they don't take up heaps of room. Alright, the top 2. No surprise, they're both Rob Allens. So, what am I going to pick for number 1? I reckon the number 1 has to go to... It's got to go to this one. The original. The only reason that this sucker is coming in at second place is because great gun. Cannot rate it high enough. It's just that if you're looking to get into the sport, and you've looked around, look where you're spearing, it's not always going to be clear, and the waves and current and all that, it can put a real strain on your wrist when you are swimming around with this gun, and it can really be a pain in the butt sometimes with this, having a longer gun. But second place, still awesome gun, recommend it to anyone who's intermediate or got super clear water where they live. But number 1, got to be the Spearns, the Rob Allen Spearns. It's small, versatile, great gun to get into the sport, awesome size, you can shoot any of your reef species with this gun. Yeah, and it gives you a skeleton and you can just keep adding and adding if you want to. But awesome gun, recommend it to anyone who is looking to get into the sport and they want a good reliable gun. So that's all the guns I have and own, and I forgot to rate the whole spears, but I'm pretty sure that if I was going to put the pole spears up there with the spear guns, this one would be very, very last place, and this black Salvimar hand spear would probably come in at number 3. So if I was going to rate that along with them, that's where they would sit. But anyway, great gun to get into the sport. 100% recommend it. People are still using the same gun 10 years later with the same brand and they're still reliable. So that's all of the guns I own, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you do like this content, and make sure you ring the bells.